Roots Reseller, you give me an offer and I'll take it.
I say, this is Johnny's place where you can have it for no problem. I got the dollars.
Fixed income, no credit, back credit. Here at Kajun Roots Reseller, that's no problem.
Let him have it.
I've got my dollars and I sit in my best offer.
We say, yes. See the special man. The easiest man on YouTube.
You got the dollars? We got the offer? Let him have it with no problem.
Hello, everyone, and good morning on this beautiful, bright, and early Thursday morning. How's everybody doing this morning? Good to see each and every one of you, as always. First in the chat was Miss Irene. How are you doing, Miss Irene? Good to see you. Mr. Jimmy, hello. Also, we have Tom Cruise. Well, good morning, Tom. And Mr. Mess Hall Diggs. Hello, good morning, and welcome. How's everybody doing this morning? And yes, we are also on the Facebook side live. And also Miss Jennifer. Hello, good morning and welcome. How are you doing this morning? And hope the kids are doing well. Also, MD Picker. Hello, good morning and welcome. And Mr. Paul, the flippin' sports guy. Well, everyone, I got down to the bottom very quickly. And guess what? We have our guests waiting to come on. And I want you to give this person a big welcome. I've just started actually getting to know this person. I watched the channel, catching up on the videos in his channel, so I think you may enjoy it as well. So with the also saying hello real quick to Miss Jigsaw Jen and New England Thrifter. Hello, good morning and welcome. And let's give a warm welcome to our guest today, Mess Hall Diggs. Good morning.
What's going down? How are you?
I'm blessed in you.
Good. Hey, that intro had me want to break
out
the 80s breakdancing moves, man. I was like,
I love watching the bottom when everybody's listening to the music and when I exit too as well. I love it to where I can see them dancing in the background. So yeah, it gets you going.
Jennifer, it gets you going, especially it's early in the morning,
Yes, exactly. And I get a lot of good compliments about it because that's what they like about it, the music. So for those who may not know you, we do have a few people already in the chat. Why don't you give everybody a quick description of who you are, what you do, and what platforms you sell on, and a little bit about your channel.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for waking up early, hanging out with us. Hope you got some good coffee. Mess Hall Diggs. I'm a retired military veteran. I did 23 years in the Army. And now I pretty much just teach culinary arts at the university here in my hometown and do eBay on the side. Mostly on eBay. I do sell things on Poshmark, Mercari. I have some stuff on Amazon. eBay is my main focus. Basically, all I do, and like I say on my channel, find things cheap and sell them for more than that. And that's pretty much as easy as it gets, Love to play golf too, but that's about it, man.
All right. So if you have any questions, go ahead and put it in the chat. Make sure you either put the word question in caps or even just make sure you put Kajun Roots Reseller at so that I can see it because it will tag it for me. So my first question, which I usually ask all my guests, what got you started on reselling? And also when you made a comment about what got you started with the reselling part?
So I've been on eBay forever. Back in like 2010, I opened my first little eBay store, and it's because I was going through a lot of, I think everyone has like a shed or an attic or somewhere with just a bunch of boxes of old stuff. And so my wife had gotten a hold of a couple of the boxes that had a bunch of my old baseball cards and stuff in it. And she's like, hey, why don't you try selling these or getting rid of them? And I was like, no, those are for like my great grandkids. That's what I'm saving those for. And so I was like, well, let me go, so I jumped on eBay just to see, because my stepdad sold a lot of his old 45s and old records from the 60s and stuff on eBay. So I've always known about eBay and making money off stuff that you don't want anymore around your house or whatever. So I started selling off a lot of my old baseball cards, the ones that I could part with. Some of them I'll just never part with. They'll be in the casket with me. But and then, as you have kids and kids grow and they grow out of things, they grow out of interests, they grow out of toys, they grow out of clothes. And instead of just donating them, I decided, well, especially GameStop was the #1 reason, because GameStop always used to rip me off when I try to turn in my son's old video games. Because I mean, he went from an Xbox to a PlayStation 4, and he kept getting every Christmas. It seemed like he got a new system, and he just wouldn't play the other one. So I tried to trade games in, and GameStop was just giving you like pennies on the dollar. And I figured I could get more online, and I was right. So I made my first $60 that actually decided whatever I make off of this, I'm just going to keep this cycle rolling. So I made $60 online selling some of his old video games. And then I just took that $60 and I just kept reinvesting it into the business. Then I started watching YouTube videos and Daily Refinement, who used to be 10K on the Bay. Chris, I got to know him really well. He kind of helped guide my journey into like scaling this thing into like a small business, and it just exploded, man. And I've always been a sneakerhead. Sneakers have been the thing since I was a kid. I've loved it. And I grew up in the flea markets. I grew up in thrift stores. So it wasn't really weird to me or new to me. I've always kind of known about this hustle. But, you know, being in the military, just really didn't have time for anything else. So I figured once I retired, let's just jump in and see what happens, you know. So that's what we're doing now.
Awesome. So I know your primary items that you sell, and I know you're passionate about, is Sneakers or tennis shoes or shoes itself. What got you going into that market, and how and what do you look for when you're shopping for that type of product?
So the biggest thing and the #1 advice I give people is jump into a niche that you're familiar with or you're comfortable with. Some people, like my wife, has a vast knowledge of, you know, vases and mugs and glassware and things like that. Things I have no idea about. I couldn't tell you what's worth money and what's not when it comes to glassware and things. But sneakers, because we grew up, you know, low income family, single mom, I never had the chance to really be able to afford the high dollar sneakers. I was always go to Payless Shoe Source. It was buy one, get one free. And then one was my play shoes, one was my school shoes.
Yeah.
And then at school, I used to see all the rich kids had the Jordans and the Nikes. And I always told myself, when I get to a point where I start making my own money, you know, sneakers are going to be the thing. I used to go to the mall and just stand in the sneaker stores and just wish, hope, and dream that I could put a pair of those on my feet, you know?
Yeah.
So I studied them. I learned about them. I kept up with them, and it just kind of turned into a hobby. Then I got into high school, and I worked 2 jobs, so I could always afford the flyest sneakers when I was in high school. And I used to, you know, drive around, because I grew up in the Bay Area in California. So we used to drive across the Bay Bridge. I grew up in Hayward, which is next to Oakland. We drive across the Bay Bridge and go all sneaker stores in San Francisco looking for like the newest releases. And so when I got into reselling, what really sparked my interest is my daughters love going to Plato's Closet, which is kind of like a higher end thrift store, right? Plato's Closet. You can go sell your stuff at Plato's Closet as well. And I saw at Plato's Closet, they were reselling sneakers in there, you know, for good money. I mean, some of them are up in the $70, $80 range for some high-end sneakers that are used, been worn. And I was like, well, man, I have myself a huge sneaker collection. Some of the shoes I don't wear anymore. Let me see what the market's like for these. And that's what opened my mind. I was like, holy crap, like I could sell an old pair of Jordans I haven't worn in like a year and a half for $70, $80 right now. I'm like, ooh, let's start doing this. And then I started going to thrift stores and looking for the same thing. And there, it's just like all the brands that I know and love are sitting right there on the thrift store shelves. And I immediately were like, ooh, women's Brooks running shoes. I mean, I know those cost $130 brand new.
Wow.
They're $5.99 at Goodwill. I'm sure someone will pay $30 for these, right? So it kind of started small like that. And then it just became crazy because that was the #1 thing I was selling. Like every time I posted a pair of shoes. And of course, when I first started, I was always trying to beat the other guy's price. You know, you go online, all right, someone's selling them for 50. I'm going to sell them for 30. They'll buy mine first. and then you start realizing, okay, these are more valuable than what I'm selling them for. I need to up my prices a little bit. And then I got into like sneaker flipping, where you try to get your hands on the hottest new releases, and then that market's insane right now though, because everyone's got sneaker bots and it's almost impossible to get the hottest sneakers out. So, but I just stick with thrift stores now. If I can find it at the thrift store, you know, that's what I go with.
Now you have a question. Do you do live sales?
I don't do live sales. The only live show I do is Defend the Hustle on Friday nights. That's the only live show I ever really do. Other than that, I just make YouTube videos about my journey, try to have fun with it. But no, I've never tried a live sale.
All right, for those who are coming in, there's his Instagram. Jennifer's been posting his links. If you haven't subscribed to him, the link is at the top in the blue box every morning when I start on. That link for their channel is at the top. He's sitting at 207 in subs. You just been doing YouTube for what, about a year?
Yeah, I just crossed my year mark a couple months ago. And I've been really slow kind of developing my channel. You know, they say you should be doing 3-4 videos a week. I've probably been doing 3 or 4 a month. It's just something I'm still kind of figure out, trying to get used to. And the thing about it is, like, everything that all the advice I get from YouTubers that have huge followings, I don't like that advice, man. I'm not out there trying to, you got to make a video that people want to watch. Like, well, I want to make a video that I want to watch. You know, that's the one I'm making, the one that makes me happy, the one I can laugh at myself or whatever. And I just have this belief that your people will find you eventually. Your people will find you. So I just keep making content that makes me happy. And if people watch it, cool. If people don't watch it, I'm still happy because I made it for me, you know.
Correct. Now, Jennifer just posted the link. If you're not knowing what the Defend the Hustle means, that is on Tommy, the Buffalo Picker, every Friday night at 7:30 p.m. Now, you are actually the co-host as far as the three of you, Christopher, which is Glass City Picker, and Tommy with the Buffalo Picker. Well, how did that come about with that title for that show every Friday night?
So Tommy's had a couple co-hosts over the year that I've known him. And me and Tommy kind of, you know, we're both retired military. So we kind of linked up on Instagram. We started DMing each other and talking about military service. And then it led to reselling and what he does and what I do. We do 2 different things. But as you know, with retired military, we're instantly like brothers no matter what, because that's just the culture we grew up in. So me and him clicked right away, me and Tommy, and we talked a lot. And we gave each other advice. He's starting to get into sneakers now. I'm trying to help him out with that. And my daughter's actually stationed in Fort Benning, and he lives near Fort Benning. So when I went to visit her, I stopped by his warehouse and hung out with him for a minute, kind of got to see his whole operation. And then one day he's like, hey, man, you want to be a co-host on my show? And I was like, yeah, let's do it, man. No problem. And so that's how I was a guest on his show before.
Yeah.
And we've always stayed in touch over the last year. And then the opportunity came up, and, you know, he's my dude. I'll support him. So if he needs me to come hang out, you know, I got his back. So
yeah,
that's why.
And one thing I had to say, I had the privilege to be able to not only meet with you and be part of that show last Friday. I've been invited to Tommy's show a couple of times already, and I've always said yes. And one of the things I've learned and had the honor to meeting you was also learning some of the things you do. And again, I have never saw your channel before Friday night. And I did know you were on there, but I really was, a lot of times I go to bed early, so I didn't get a chance to really get to know you. But then I also learned that you are also learning some more items of how to resource with Tommy in reference to Amazon. So did you actually plunge? And if so, how are you doing with your Amazon if you're doing it?
All right. So when I first started reselling, like I said, eBay was my focus. I had heard about Mercari. My wife does Poshmark stuff, so I kind of jumped on Poshmark a little bit. Amazon, you know, because when you start Amazon, you're gated in a lot of things. So I found, okay, well, no one's ever gated in books, so I started in books, and then I just kept scanning. But it got to the point where I was still in the military, and then I was trying to run 4 platforms of stuff, and Amazon's kind of a different animal than all the other platforms. And I just had made a decision. All right, I got a couple things on every site. I'm just going to leave that there. Let me zero in and focus on eBay and try to build that first, you know, because I have a tendency to just jump into 5 things at once. And then what ends up happening is 5 things are half done, you know, that nothing ever really gets completed. There's just 5 incomplete things. So I said, let's get one thing zeroed in and working. And then from there, and then I started making YouTube videos on top of everything. And then I'm trying to build an Instagram account. And it's just like all these things. And then, you know, I still got to go to work, and I'm in the military, and I'm in charge of soldiers. And it just became like this, okay, I got to slow this thing down, right? So I'm like, all right, let's do eBay and YouTube. Let's do those 2 things and get zeroed in on that. And then from there, we'll start expanding. Because I know Tommy's always harping on me, like, you got to get into this Amazon game. But what he doesn't understand, I've tried to explain to him, is Amazon is, you know, it's multiple quantities of the same things. And that has zero interest for me. I'm a treasure hunter, you know, like I'm an Indiana Jones. That's what I am. Modern day Indiana Jones. I'm going to go out there seeking treasures out because that's what makes me happy. Plus, I feel comfortable in thrift stores. I love flea markets. I want to be in that game. I don't want to go to Walmart and buy out the whole shelf and then drive to 15 other Walmarts and buy out and then have these crates of like, I got 1,700 G.I. Joes. Let's send them into Amazon. Like, it's not, you know, it's not fun to me. It's
right.
I got it. That's where the money is. That's if you want to scale and become a multi-billionaire, you got to get on Amazon. Like, yeah, I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in the thrill of the hunt, finding the needle in the haystack, going to antique stores and saying, oh, this was made in 1946. You know, that kind of stuff excites me. And that's why that's the zone I want to stay in. Pretty much.
Right. Now I have to ask you because like I said, I'm just starting to catch up on your videos and I love your style. It is different, but I love your style. And what got you to do that type of style videos when you started doing videos on YouTube?
Pretty much it's, I've always been just kind of crazy, outgoing. Making people laugh and smile is priority number 1. If you can laugh and smile, even if you think I'm stupid or I'm dumb or what I'm saying isn't right, as long as you get your, ha, 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 this guy, like that's the goal, right? And I think if that gets accomplished and then plus you learn something, then I think you get everything I'm trying to put out. That's the only thing I'm trying to do because laughter and smiling and having fun, like the whole reason you watch a video is to learn and be entertained, right? So if I can entertain you and you learn something, that's the goal every time. Even if you don't like my style or like me personally, you could still learn something that I'm putting out because I am putting out real information, things that do work. Well, they work for me, and I'm not guaranteeing that they're going to work for everybody. But it's kind of like when I was watching your intro, you're doing the same thing. It's just you've got to be yourself. You know, you find, and we talked about this Friday, you got to find that path that someone laid that got to a successful point in their career. And you want to follow that similar path, but you want to make it your own at the same time. I don't want to be like everybody else. I don't want to be like, you know, Bearded Thrift Machine or, you know, Daily Refinement or all these guys that have these channels. That's not me. It's not my style. I still want to be myself while I show you, hey, check this out, man. Isn't this cool? I got $5. I mean, no, I don't know. It's hard because you put out a video and you think it's great and it's funny. And my daughter thinks it's awesome. And you're like, whatever. It's still fun. You know, it's cool.
One thing I do have to say, though, when you're doing your videos, and I'm only saying this because I'm just starting to catch up on your videos. And if y'all haven't subscribed to, this is Mess Hall Diggs. His video, the link is in the top in the blue box. Jennifer has been dropping his Instagram account as well. I have to say what I noticed in your videos is when you're actually finding an item, talking about an item, and the way you get excited when you find that item, that is true raw expressions. And that's one of the good things I like about your videos. And again, I just started watching, so I got a lot to catch up on. But I think that's a great thing to share with others, to show that you can be yourself. You can be out the box or at the circle, whatever you want to call it. So again, you were talking in reference to your wife does Poshmark. So does your wife help you in any of the other aspects, or is she a full-time job helping her on the side? No?
No. My wife, like I said, my wife does a completely different niche than I do.
Okay.
Now we've gone thrifting together. We've gone antiquing together. So she sees the kinds of things I pick up. So when she's out in the thrift stores and I'm not with her, she'll send me pictures of like, hey, I found these shoes. Are these worth anything? Which is cool because, you know, it's kind of like I got that person out there looking out for me. And she's found some really good stuff while she's been out there. And I'm like, oh my God, yeah, put those in the cart. We need those. We need those. But on the reverse side, like I'll look at glassware and I'll just be like, you know, I'll do the same thing. I'll be like, hey, look at this vase. She's like, yeah, you can get that at Kirkland's. I don't want that. I'm like,
right.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever. It's got to say made in Japan on it or whatever. I'm like, oh, okay, well. So yeah, it's like she has her business. I got mine. And it's cool because you get to celebrate wins together. You know, she's like, I just sold this for $150. Can you believe it? And I'm like, hey, I just sold this shirt for $90. Can you believe it? So that's cool. You know, being at the dinner table talking about vintage stuff we just sold. But like you said, it is true excitement. Like when I found that Jurassic Park shirt. It was a 1993 original release Jurassic Park shirt. And I was at the thrift store. I you know, it's kind of boring because I'm thumbing through all these T-shirts from small to 3XL. I'm just, yeah. And like I get to it and like my heart stops. I'm like, oh my God. And like I'm looking around, right? And I grabbed it and like I put it underneath like 4 other things in my cart. And like I'm hovered over my cart looking around, like protecting it, you know what I mean? And I'm like, I can't believe I just found this. Oh my God. And then I got home and I put a picture on my Instagram and I posted it on eBay that night. It sold in 2 days for $90. I paid $3.99 for it. And I'm like, this is what we do it for. You know, that feeling, like there aren't too many things in life that give you that heart-sinking, pure, childlike excitement, you know, and that's what's so addicting about this resale game. So,
like Christmas morning, opening a new gift.
Yes.
So is that the shirt you just recently sold this past weekend that I saw you sold for $90 that was off after the show Friday?
Yep, that was the one. Didn't last long. And the thing about it is it had a little small hole in the back of the armpit. It had like some fading and like it had like a bleach stain on the back. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, man. Like they still want that stuff.
Yeah. So we do have a question from Glammy. Do you sell more T-shirts or tennis shoes?
Tennis shoes for sure. Tennis shoes is 95% of my business. And it's crazy because golf clubs have become like the next biggest seller. I didn't realize, you know, I knew golf was a huge thing, but there are certain things in golf that are just worth crazy money. People will pay a lot of money because it's an expensive hobby anyway.
Right.
But golf clubs have slowly climbed into like behind sneakers. My number 2 biggest selling thing is golf equipment. So the T-shirts are fun when you can find the ones like the Jurassic Park vintage shirt. Those are fun, but those aren't readily available. You know, that's why they're worth so much, because they're rare finds. So a lot of the other shirts I have are just, you know, because I always want to make sure I have those nickel and dime bread and butter items, $10, $15 T-shirts that I could sell, because those kind of keep the juices flowing. You know, they keep the money running, because not everybody has $90 to blow on a T-shirt.
Exactly.
They could spend $15 on a T-shirt. They could, you know, if I could find T-shirts for $2 and flip them for $15 and just keep that rolling, then we're still doing good, you know.
Yeah, the Hoogs said that the golf clubs have been on fire lately for them.
And they are crazy. They are crazy.
I just don't know anything about them, but I've seen a lot of people getting into them, and they're moving for good money. Good morning, Michael. How are you doing? Nakoma Fines, good to see you. If you have any questions, for example, I know this past week we had, I want to say Tuesday, Chris was our guest, and y'all had some questions, and if y'all in the chat and you asked about some shoes, certain ways of how to clean certain shoes, or had questions about shoes, here's the person you want to talk about and ask, because from what I understand, he's got a lot of knowledge on it. Little Q says, new video coming out, warning cuteness overload. Oh my God, Pam. I'll have to watch that other video. Awesome. So yeah, also, she's her daughter, Pam. You're going to fall in love with her watching that video. I'm telling you, you're going to love it.
I'll check it out for sure.
Definitely. So again, I know you said you do Poshmark, and we did have some people during the week had made some comments about they don't see men usually doing Poshmark. So with your Poshmark, what do you primarily sell on Poshmark? And I know the typical question is, do you do it and share your closet yourself, or do you have a VA?
Yeah, so Poshmark has kind of been, if we want to use the stove terminology, it's not even on the back burner. It's kind of like sitting on top of the stove. The
simmering.
It's not even simmering. It's
okay.
It's on top of it's on the back of the stove, like waiting for a slot on the stove. It's been prepped, but it's not been cooked yet.
Like on Thanksgiving Day. Okay.
So yeah, the Poshmark thing, the best thing for me on Poshmark is also shoes, because of the shipping. It's only $7.95 for shipping, which is a great deal when buying shoes. Unless, like on my eBay store, I do free shipping for most everything I do. But Poshmark was when I first started. I put a lot of stuff on there that now when I go back and look at my Poshmark closet, I'm like, yeah, that's probably why nothing's selling, because no one wants an Old Navy t-shirt for $15 plus $7 shipping when you can go to Old Navy and buy that same shirt for $4.
Right.
Those are like the mistakes. Everything on my Poshmark store is kind of like a mistake. And usually what I'll do is once a year, I'll just kind of go through everything that's on my eBay, Poshmark, Mercari store, and I'll just take it down if I realize that was a mistake, that I shouldn't have picked that up. And then I'll have my annual Mess Hall Digs yard sale and just sell everything cheap. Just get rid of it. Standard yard sale prices. I'll sell things for $1.50 just to get rid of it. Try to make a couple extra dollars. But that's kind of my reminder of where I started and like why was I picking these things up. But every time I've posted good shoes on there, they've sold. So shoes are still a really good thing to sell on Poshmark. That's what Renzi now does. He's one of the biggest used sneaker sellers that I know, and I think he sells primarily on Poshmark, and he makes a killing doing shoes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Tom has a question. Ever hit up Dianza or other Bay Area swap meets?
No, so where I used to go to the Ashby flea markets, which is out by Berkeley, California. And that's where I pretty much grew up in the Ashby flea markets. We go every single weekend. And the best thing about that place is they had, that's where I learned about bootlegs. You get a shirt that says Fucci on it instead of Gucci, and they made they had a guy who was screen printing like the old Bart Simpsons t-shirts when they first came out in the late 80s. So he would screen print the Simpsons shirts right there on site for you. You just pick the one you wanted. He'd screen print it and sell it to you for $5. And in the stores, they're $20-something. So that's where I would just go and buy all the cool. Like I bought my first Public Enemy t-shirt at the Ashby Flea Market. I thought they were one of my favorite groups when I was younger. And that was my spot. The Ashby Flea Market.
All right. The Hooks has a question. What are some things you look for when authenticating shoes?
All right. So if you watch my latest video on YouTube, I actually found a pair of fake shoes, and I go through the whole process of what I was looking for and what led me to believe they were not authentic. And when I have a really high-end expensive pair of shoes that I'm pretty sure are legit, I also have the Check app. And what you do is you'll take some pictures of the things they want you to take pictures of, and you pay a fee, and a sneaker authenticator will look at all the pictures you send them, and they'll send you back a result. Either they're legit or they fail. And so, because I found a pair of Jordans that were, the metallic blue Jordans, they looked legit to me, but they're, a $150 sneaker used. And you don't want to be that person that gets caught selling fake shoes to somebody. Like, if you ever get a negative comment on eBay, the sneakers he sold me were fake, I mean, that could end your whole reputation. But they also, eBay now authenticates sneakers for you. So if you sell something over $100, you send it to a sneaker con authority. They'll authenticate it for you through eBay, and then they'll send it to the customer from there. So you have a couple barriers you can get to make sure that the customer is getting a legit, authentic pair. But that's the best thing about eBay right now is anything over $100, eBay will authenticate it for you and then send it to the customer. Sneaker.
Have you used that services so far?
Yeah, I have. I've used it a bunch of times, actually.
And so has it been profitable for you where once you send it in, and have you had any that you sent in that were actually worth doing that? And then does it cost a little extra?
No. So it's eBay does it. The only thing that kind of sucks is you have to send it to, like, the customer will buy it. You send it off to the authenticator. And whenever the authenticator gets to it and authenticates it, then they send it off to the customer. So it might take longer for you to get the product if you go that route. But at least you're getting an authentic pair. Because I've sold some shoes, for $350 before. And if I'm a customer, I'm okay with waiting a little bit longer to make sure my money I spent is legitimized.
Right.
But for lower end shoes, I always use the Check app if I have a, second guess on something. But if you watch my latest YouTube video on the sneaker one I did, I'll show you kind of the things to look for. A lot of them are really obvious. There are some that are really, really good fakes. And for those, I'll leave it to an expert. But for me, I don't really get into that super high-end replica game. If I buy something off Nike or I buy it off Adidas, I can show you the receipt. I can show you that it came from the source.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of want to stay away. Like, if I find some Gucci shoes at the thrift store, I'll probably just leave them there. I didn't want to get into that.
Yeah.
Because I don't really know nothing about Gucci shoes. I know a lot about Nikes and Adidas and Jordans.
Yep. Yeah. Well, Jennifer put the link in the chat. So if you haven't caught that video yet, there's the link. Go check it out. You can always save it for later. Watch it, put it in a watch list. So again, with the sending off authentication, you don't have to send it in prior, or you have to wait for it to sell?
Yeah, it sells and then you send it to the authenticator. That's the first sign or the first route it goes to. So it goes from my house to an authenticator. And I've never had one not be authenticated. So I don't know what happens if you send it to them and they reject it. But
okay.
Yeah, so like Lil Miss Q says, they always go through eBay authenticator.
Does it half my personal closet is fake? There's nothing wrong with having it for yourself. Question: how much retail arbitrage would you say you do?
Let's say I do, I don't know, maybe 20% of my sourcing comes from retail. My favorite stores are like Ross, TJ Maxx, Marshalls. If I remember, like, during Christmas last year, I had a lot of Hot Topic books. So you spend, I think I spend $100, I get $30 of free money or whatever it was. And so I got a lot of those Pop Funko toys, what I'm talking about, little Pop Funkos. Mm-hmm. So I bought a bunch of those with my free money. So I'll go retail arbitrage, and if there's a deal, like if like when the AEW wrestlers first came out at Walmart, like I was at Walmart and I bought up a lot of them because those were like the hottest things at the time. I mean, I was buying them for $15 to $20, and I sell them for $50 on eBay. So it's little things like that. If I get, you know, a bolo, or sometimes Tommy will hit me up and DM me, be like, hey man, Walmart's got these on clearance, and then I'll jump in my truck and I'll go to Walmart. And then Ross and Marshalls, of course, are huge, good sneaker sourcing spots, because I found some really good stuff, especially like cleats and things. Like you can get cleats on clearance for $4 sometimes at Ross. And, you know, you can sell them for $25 easy on eBay. So that's another good thing I like to do.
Yeah, I got a hold of some cleats over at Marshalls. I paid $5 a pair for them. They were still brand new, but didn't have a box. And I'm down to 3 pairs already because I bought a lot of them. So they do sell. It's just sometimes you do have to sit on those because of the season, so to say. But yeah, they do sell. Now you did talk about earlier. Now you and I had a conversation before the show. When you go sourcing and going to like thrift shops or antique malls, what is your go-to type items that you look for when going sourcing in those particular areas?
Yeah, so when I go to my favorite antique spot, it's one of, and I try to spread the word, because I know you know a lot about this too, but antique stores, I don't think get sourced enough. A lot of people go to thrift stores and Goodwill and Salvation Army, but I have found a lot of great things in antique stores. And what I have found is, like, you'll see a booth at an antique store and you can tell what that dealer, you know, what their niche is in their booth. Okay, they're into antique clocks or whatever, let's say, right? So they have all these cool antique clocks in their booth, but these dealers also need, you know, space fillers, right? So they'll find things to fill holes in their booth just to try to sell them. Well, a lot of times the space fillers are things they don't really know a lot about. They're just there to fill space.
Right.
And that's where I find my best deals is, like, I found a bunch of old, like, WWE wrestler toys. So this person had like Ray Dunn stuff, and they had clothes, and they just had like all these different things. And then off in the corner, they had like these old wrestlers. And so they were selling for $8 a piece. I mean, these things were worth $60 easy.
Wow. Yeah.
So I bought all of them. And then this other person had, I know I showed it on my Instagram, like an old school, like Pepsi stand-up cutout cardboard thing of Britney Spears, right? It's $120 cutout. And I had the owner of the antique store call the dealer because there was no price on it. And he was like, hey, I have a customer interested in this cutout. Are you selling it? And I heard her on the phone say, I ain't taking anything less than $20 for it. I said, sold. $20.
Wow.
So that's like the best thing ever, is going to antique stores and finding just mispriced. I call it, we catch them slipping. Oh, you got caught slipping. This is a $120 item and you're selling it for $20. Oh, sold all day long, baby. Let's get it. So that's the best thing.
You remind me of Joey's about a Bing's attitude when it comes to stuff like that. Glams is saying that was a great tip, because I usually say it every now and then. You want to check your antique malls in your area, because, like, for example, where I go, there's a particular booth. For some reason, they're all running a 50% off. And some of the prices they have on it are so low, and you're getting the 50% off. That's a great deal. So you do want to check those in your area to see if there are running specials. But again, you never know when somebody's going to put something in it that they don't know what they got or didn't research it, and it's on a very low price. Definitely want to check into that.
Yeah, one of the best things I found is they had this one booth had just a couple old shoes just thrown, you know, underneath one of their stands that they had. They had a couple shoes displayed. And I found a pair of like Chuck Taylor Converse slides. Like, they're one of the rarest shoes you can find. They don't make them anymore. It's an actual Chuck Taylor tennis shoe that they made into a slide. And they wanted $4 for them. I sold them for $90. Old, dusty, antique looking shoes.
Wow.
I paid $4 and sold them for $90. So it's like things like that. You know, you find, every time I go, every single time I go, I have at least half a cart full of stuff that I find that people just have mispriced.
Right. Now, speaking of when you do get type of shoes like that you have to clean, and I know we had this topic Tuesday, and I did tell everybody to make sure that we're here for you on that. What is the best way of cleaning different shoes? Possibly, because I don't go into that part. That's not my niche to do. But there's a lot of questions that were coming up Tuesday in reference to cleaning certain types of shoes and how to clean them. What do you recommend? And depending on the type of shoe it is.
All right. Hold on. Let me grab a couple of my products that I use.
Okay. And again, don't forget, if you haven't subscribed to our guest today, that's Mess Hall Diggs. His link is at the top in the chat, and Jennifer's been dropping his Instagram and channel during the show. So make sure you check it out. Go check out his channel. I just found out more about him this past Friday, and I've been trying to catch up on his videos. So I know you may enjoy those because he's very full of information in all his videos, and you will get it raw and out. The way he acts and talks is how you see his videos. So
all right, so I'll just run you through something real quick.
Okay.
So I have, first of all, a lot of microfiber cloths. Everybody knows what those are. So the best thing, so I always take the insoles out and I scrub and clean those the best I can. I use Angelus. You can see that. You can go to angelus.com, easy cleaner. So I use this for 90% of my shoes. It's a cleaning agent. I just put it in my little cool skull spray bottle that I have.
Oh, cool.
And so you can just spray it on, and I just use a nubuck brush. And if you order from Angelus, they'll send you one for free. And just to spray this on, scrub this on, you just wipe it with a microfiber towel. That'll clean most things. And they also make products for leather and nubuck and things like that. I use Goo and adhesive remover. That will remove 95% of the price. They write the prices on the bottom of the shoe, usually in like permanent marker or whatever marker they use to write the price of the shoe on the bottom of the shoe. You spray a little bit of this on there, wipe it off, and the price will come off the shoe. And then I go to the dollar store and I buy the dollar store version of the magic erasers, the white foam magic erasers.
Right.
And that will clean all the grit and grime off of like Converse, Chuck Taylors, all the midsole, the white part, the rubber part of the shoe. That will get almost always all of that off. And then after I clean the insoles, I get this at Dick's Sporting Goods. It's odor eliminator. This will take the odor almost out of everything. It's really good. It's kind of expensive. I think this is like $14 just for this small bottle I have. But it works really good. Is that some type of scent,
or does it just take the smell outside of a shoe?
Yeah, it's just an odor eliminator. And then I use, I don't know if I have it nowhere nearby, but I have like the Tide antibacterial fabric spray. I use that as well. So those are pretty much everything that you're going to need. And you can clean any pair of shoes with that. The only thing I don't mess with if it's shoes.
Where it went? Real quick. Somebody says you should market those spray bottles you have.
Yeah, I should. It's one of a kind. It's a skull spray bottle. But the only thing I don't mess with, if I can smell like a cigarette odor off of anything, I just don't mess with it, because I've bought a pair of shoes that smelled like they actually smoked the cigarettes out of the shoe.
Oh,
like,
wow.
That was the vessel they used to smoke their tobacco, was that shoe. And it probably took me 6 days to get it back to where it didn't smell like cigarettes anymore.
Oh, wow.
And it was just not worth it. It was a lot of cleaning and airing it out and putting it outside, put it in the sun and clean it and spray it and put it out in the sun and air it out. It just wasn't worth it, man. So I'll just leave them alone. If I could smell any hint of like cigarettes coming off of it, I'll just leave it alone. It ain't worth it.
Right. So with the company you're using for that chemical, you said they basically have different types of chemicals for different types of shoes.
Yeah. So I'll show it again. It's Angelus. So you just go to angelus.com or whatever. I mean, they have paint. They have they have everything you'll ever need for shoe restorations or cleanings or whatever. And I don't get paid. I don't get paid by them either. So
you don't have an affiliate link?
No affiliate link. I don't get paid. But of all the brands I've used over the years, that's my favorite one. It works for everything. And I have all their products, the suede cleaner. I have everything.
That is awesome. Little Miss Q says, is anyone near Landon, Ohio? Cincinnati Picker is having a huge inventory reseller sale this Saturday at 7 a.m. Wow, that's pretty cool. I'm about an hour away. Hello and good morning, Jimmy. How are you doing? Good to see you. If you have any questions about shoes or products that you're thinking he might be able to answer for you, go ahead and put it in the chat. We'll get that for you. Ozum removes cigarette smoke smells. Never heard of that one.
What is it?
Ozium. Never heard of it. That's a first. I just subbed to the
Ozium. I think they sell that at Lowe's. I think I've seen it at Lowe's before. Ozium, is that right? You get
Michael, is that where you get it from, Lowe's? I know I used Odorban a lot after Katrina in Louisiana, but that's the only one I ever knew about getting rid of odors. It had like a eucalyptus smell to it. Eucalyptus, whatever you call it. But anywho. But I tend to do the same thing. Stay away from anything that smells like smoke.
We used to use pine oil in the army.
Oh, yeah.
Pine oil for everything.
The pure concentrated one at that.
The pure concentrated pine oil. Get the smell.
You can smell it outside before you hit somebody's front door.
Yeah.
In the Navy, that's all we use. Boy, that was strong. Especially cleaning the decks in the office space. Lord Jesus.
Yeah. And you would that's all you would smell throughout the whole building.
Yep. So I want to ask you to give a tip or two, whatever you like, on reference to when somebody's looking at possibly sourcing shoes. What would you recommend and give tips to someone who either just started or thinking about getting into that category of selling shoes?
All right, so I'll give you a couple tips. So I'll start out with this. So Brooks running shoes for women are probably one of my biggest selling shoes. They're a very dependable, best selling brand for women's running shoes. Of course, the number one tip is always have your phone with you, always. But the first thing I look for, so here's an example. So I picked up these Nike Zoom women's running shoes, right?
Uh-huh.
So as you can see, they're already in like pristine condition. Like I don't even have to clean these. They're just they look new.
Yeah, right? They do.
So that's like tip number one. Even though this might not be a huge seller, or I might not make a huge profit, it's just a shoe that's in really good condition. So what I always do is I always look at the toe piece, make sure there's no glue coming off, make sure there's no holes, make sure the insoles are good, make sure the traction still got a lot of tread on it. But a key that I always do, if you're ever in doubt, is with Nikes especially. I don't know if I can get this in here.
I'm down a little bit right there.
All right. So there's this code right here. It's like a 9-digit code. That's the style code for the shoe that I have in my hand. So I can just go to my eBay store, just hit the search feature, type in that 9-digit code, and everyone that is selling or have sold a similar style of shoe, you'll be able to know what the value is. And on Adidas and Converse, they have an ART number, ART. Whatever the ART number is, just type that in on eBay, and that shoe should pop up, and you'll see if it's worth anything. Now, if you type in that code and nothing shows up, and then you go to Google and type in that code and nothing shows up, then it's probably a fake shoe. So that's another fake tip right there.
Now, I have another question for you when you talked about the soles. I'm not going to say what channels I've watched, but I have seen some channels where they'll bring the tennis shoe, they'll find it at Goodwill or whatever, and they take the shoe, I don't know if this is what you recommend, and they bend it in like basically half. Is that something that you're on the sole when you're doing that? And what is the reason for that?
Yeah, so the soles are going to be the first things to start cracking, right? So if you have some cracking or dry rotting or whatever going on, now that, like, let's say you have someone that goes to the gym a lot, and they always leave their gym shoes in their truck or their car, or the trunk of their car, and it's 110 degrees outside. It's going to start messing with the sole and the gluing and all that kind of stuff. So you can bend and do this just to make sure there's no cracking in the soles. Because I did have a pair of like Tommy Hilfiger women's shoes that I did not. And Skechers, the God, what are those Skechers? The really popular ones, the ones that have the big fat soles on them. Those are known for doing this. As soon as you put them on and take a step, this whole thing will just crack. And it's happened on a couple of the shoes that I've sold. I mean, I gave instant refunds and stuff, but you know, it's because I failed to do the sole cracking test. Because it looks good like this, and you know, once I'm cleaning it and then I display it and take a picture and then I store it, you know, I've never got to the point where I actually put it on and take a step, and this could all crack, and then you're done. You know, then the shoe's just worthless after that.
Okay, now you do have a question here from Glammy.
Shape ups, yeah, the hoogs, yeah, the Skechers shape ups, man. I will never buy those again. I've had 2 pairs of those that I've sold where as soon as you bent it, it just cracked. So those are known for doing that, though. They're terrible.
Glammy has a question. If someone like me does not know that much about Nikes or athletic shoes, wants to start learning, what is the best way to get some new knowledge?
Go to your local thrift store, go to the shoes section, and just start looking things up. I mean, that's how I had to learn about a lot of things that I've done. It's just my phone is my biggest weapon. It's everything to me. And the number one thing is the eye test, the gut test. Is like when I see something, I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like that's the first thing. Oh, those look pretty cool, or those look nice, or those look comfortable, and just grab it and then look it up. And you can even do a Google image search. You can take a picture of it, Google image search that image, and see what pops up. But I've felt a lot of the time, even with something I don't know about, like a mug or you know, a woman's shirt or a woman's jacket, if it looks cool, like, oh, that's cool looking, usually it's probably gonna be worth something. So that's how I go with everything. Is just I'll see that's cool, I'll grab it, I'll look at the brand, I'll look it up, and I'll be like, okay, well, that's not worth nothing, or oh, that's worth something. It's just trial and error, man. Like you just gotta learn by scanning and looking, going with your gut. Got to fail a lot, like I did in the beginning. Learn from your mistakes.
Yep.
The biggest panic attack I have is when I'm in some old dungy thrift store and I have no internet service. I have no phone service in the store. So now I'm just like, oh, okay, I got to rely on like my instincts now because there's still good stuff in there. I just can't look anything up until I get. And I did that with video games one time. I was this dusty for a store. I found a bunch of these old PS2 games. They were really cheap. I probably spent $25. I bought a bunch of them, and like not one of them was worth more than $4 or something. And it's trial and error. It's just taking chances. But if it's a brand new looking, really good looking shoe, and it's got a Nike, Adidas, Brooks, you know, I think I did a video a while back, like the top 5 sneakers to look for. You're gonna be okay.
Nakoma says he got that ozone spray for removing smoke smells. He actually got that at Walmart or from Amazon, and he uses it on plush.
Oh yeah, the stuffed animals.
Yeah, and it's always good to learn from some other buddy you might not know or never met before, and that's what's good about the guest in the morning. That's why it's always important that I'm trying to get anybody who wants to showcase their channel, talk about things that they do on their channel, because you just never know who you might be able to reach out to, someone that you have a knowledge about, something that they never knew. My Gumball Machine channel. There's the link. Check it out. Everybody's talking about the smoke and smell for plush. I place it in the car, run the AC a bunch of times. A lot of people leave them outside. Like I had something that I bought, and it was strong, and I didn't even open the inside bag. And I left it in my garage for a week. But I've heard that some people say you can put it in a bag, like a Ziploc bag, and put it in your freezer. I haven't tried it because I haven't had that problem, so thank God. But yeah, there's always different methods that everybody does, but you just never know what's going to work for you. I hate error part.
Yeah, the error part. Yeah, like when you when you make a mistake, when you buy something, it's a mistake. It's an error.
Oh, okay. Hello, Alex. He's on the Facebook side. Hello, good morning, and welcome. How are you doing today? Don't know if you know how to watch the videos. I definitely will have. I have it set to watch in my playlist. I haven't been able to watch it lately. Yeah, I have some playlists I have to watch and catch up on. So again, when you're sourcing, and where is your most you tend to go and source at, as far as between thrift shops, antique malls, or even do you do estate sales? And which one of those is your best ones that you like to go to?
So the advantage that I have a Goodwill probably 5 minutes from my house, maybe even less if there's no traffic. So I can take a left out of my street, and in 5 minutes I'm at a Goodwill.
Awesome.
So I tend to go there every day, because whether I'm running errands or I'm, going to volleyball practice or whatever I'm doing, I pass right by it every time I go to do anything. I pass right by it. And I don't have the discipline to not just pull in, I can't drive by and not pull in, because so many times I've just run in for 10, 15 minutes and found like an amazing thing. So that's kind of,
right.
So that's my downfall. So I go to Goodwill almost every day. And I live about 30 minutes from Nashville, Tennessee. So Nashville, Tennessee has 2 bins. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Goodwill bins. But that's when they have just kind of like a big warehouse space, and they wheel out these big cow trough looking blue things, and then everybody puts on their helmet and shoulder pads, and they just dive in and fight each other for what's in the bins, right? So there's 2 of those in Nashville. So I go to those a lot. And then my favorite antique spot is about 20 minutes from my house. I go there a lot just because of what we talked about. So between those 3 places, and then anytime my daughter wants to go to the mall, I'll drop her off at the mall. Ross and Marshall's and all that stuff, and TJ Maxx is all right there in the same area. So I'll hit up all those retail arbitrage spots while she's in the mall doing her thing. So and then Plato's Closet. I've found some really good things in Plato's Closet before. That's right by the mall as well. So that's kind of my route, I guess. If you're following me, I'm all over the place.
The flower says you don't sound like Tennessee.
Huh?
The flower girl says you don't sound like you're like a Tennessee.
No, I'm born and raised in the Bay Area in California. The military brought me to Tennessee, and
yeah,
I just fell in love. I just fell in love with the southern states, and the people here are really nice, and my kids are in high school here, so this is where we're gonna be for now.
That's awesome. So do you kids like going sourcing with you?
No, they hate it. My oldest daughter, who's in the Air Force now, she was my sidekick. She had her own little eBay store, and she was getting into the game too. So she would go with me. They all like, they're all cool with wearing stuff from the thrift stores. They just don't like going in there.
Oh, okay.
My son especially, he's, if it doesn't have to do with video games or computers, he doesn't care about it. So it's pretty much just me by myself a lot. My wife goes with me sometimes, but yeah, they have zero interest. Like even if they're with me in the truck, like my daughter will stay in my truck with air conditioner on her phone if I'm in Goodwill.
She does not want to be seen in there with my daddy, huh?
I'm not going there.
I have family in Nashville. You don't sound like them.
Yeah, I'm California all the way. So I'm just a guest. I'm a guest in Nashville.
So with you doing more of shoes, do you still tend to find and sell and flip the sourcing, or do you find them and keep them for yourself?
No, here's the weird thing is I won't wear used shoes. I can't do it.
Either. I can't either.
I'll wear thrift store t-shirts all day long. Like 90% of my clothes in my closet are thrift store clothes, like t-shirts and shorts. And I found some cool True Religion jeans the other day. Like they were my size, so I kept them for myself. But because I'm such a sneaker fanatic and freak and finicky about it, you know, every pair of sneakers used that I find, even if it's my size, I sell them. I can't wear used shoes. I buy high-end, brand new, very expensive stuff is all I have on my feet.
I know when I was growing up, we had a lot of hand-me-downs, but for me, that was our family at the time, you know, because my dad was working full-time trying to support a family of 6 actually. And so for us, it was more like the Dollar Tree, dollar store, or even sourcing like for school and stuff and things like that. But then again, you learn how to do that. So my next question for you though is the video games. When you're searching for video games, do you tend to keep those and play them for a while and then sell them, or do you just buy them to flip?
Well, the only system we have in our house right now is a PS4. That's the only video gaming system I have. My son's more onto like the online gaming stuff, so he does all that. But video games, I don't do a whole lot of. I'm not really familiar. I know a couple of the really big name ones to look for, but any video game I buy, I'm selling it. And I mean, there's money in it. There's just not enough to keep me interested. You know, I'll always scan through them, and I'm looking for like 2 or 3 or 4 different titles. The Guitar Hero guitars are like money. That's like finding money, man. Every time I found one of those, I've sold them $30, $40, $50 just for the Guitar Hero guitars. All that Rock Band stuff, all those instrument things, controllers, like old GameCube controllers are more lucrative than the actual games are. So that's what I'm looking for, the instruments and the pieces and the controllers.
Right.
And I did find a bunch. I was at the Goodwill bins and I found a bunch of old PlayStations which have like no cords, no controllers, no nothing. It's just a system. And you can still get $25, $30 for those. You can sell them, don't work, refurbished or not refurbished, broken, not working. You can still sell those for $25, $30 sometimes. Right. So if you're finding them for $1 a piece, like I did at the bins or whatever, you know, it's still worth picking up. Because there are people out there that want to buy not working things and they have pieces, they can fix them up and then they can resell them for more or whatever. But
all right, we have a question from Tom. Have you ever picked up media, LPs, tapes, CDs to source for resale?
Never once. I've never gotten into the CD thing ever. I'll buy old boom boxes that play CDs or like old Sony Walkmans and stuff like that. But as far as actual CDs and records, I haven't gotten in any of that stuff.
Right. Now I want to talk a little bit about, we had talked about it before the show, in reference to an antique booth. Have you, I know you said you go to your antique mall a lot. So talk a little bit about that process that you've been doing to try to get into your antique mall that you like going to. Yes.
So one of my newest ventures that I'm trying to accomplish is to get my own booth at the antique mall that I go to. There's a lot of traffic there. It's in Kentucky because I live right on the Tennessee-Kentucky border pretty much. And it's a high-vis, high-traffic antique mall. It's kind of like the only thing around that area that people can go to and hang out. And people travel from all over Tennessee and Kentucky just to go to this place. It's huge. I think there's 200 booths in it, I want to say. And there's a waiting list to get a booth in there, and it's a pretty good size. I can't remember, maybe it's like a 10-foot by 10-foot space you get if you can get in there. And to me, I think they charge $60 a month to rent the space, and then they get 10% of your sales. That's the deal at this one. I don't know if it varies from place to place, but the one I want to get into, that's what it's going to cost. So it's almost like having like a eBay store. You know, it's $60 a month, 10% of your sales. But every time I go in there, it's packed. The parking lot's packed. There's people everywhere. So I'm like, if I was going to have a booth somewhere, this would be the spot. So I've gotten to know the manager because I'm in there all the time. I got on the waiting list. And the only problem with it is people have been in there for 10, 15 years. They've had a booth in there. So they're probably not leaving anytime soon. So you can't get a spot until someone decides to leave. It's right. Full. And I think I was number 6 on the waiting list last time I checked on it. And he said usually after the summer's over, 2 or 3 people will move on to something else or whatever. So I'm still waiting. He moved me up a couple spots because he sees all the things that I buy in there. And that's the thing. If I'm an antique, you know, if I own the antique mall, I want people to have booths that I know are going to sell stuff because that's how I'm going to make money.
Right.
So he can see that I know what I'm doing, the kinds of things that I like to buy. He sees me all the time. He's like, I'm going to move you up the list because you're the kind of person we want in here selling things. So hopefully soon, maybe by the end of the fall or something, I'll get in there. But I think it'll be a great spot for my wife, the stuff that my wife likes to collect and sell. Plus, I have a lot of extra stuff that I want to throw in there. I think we'll do pretty good in that spot. I mean, how do you do? Is it a good thing for your booth?
Well, for me, right now the summer's always slow for some reason where I'm at. It was like that last year, but I'm still making sales. One of the things I have to say I'm blessed with because I go every week, I update my booth, dust everything, move things around. Because I find that if I go, when I first started, I would go to each of the different antique malls that I knew. I would go a different time of the day, but go every day of the week. I would go to a different one and see what part of the day is always busier, if it's still busy on that day or whatever. And so the one I'm at, I have over 1.5 years now. And what I like about it is that I went from one small booth because I got my feet in the door. I would always go, like you were saying, go back and always be there. Put your name on a waiting list where I was basically just making sure that if there was a spot open, I want them to know I'm interested. And so I was always there, so they got to know me that way. And then I got into a smaller booth. And then from that smaller booth, I went to 2 small booths. And I had my eye on the bigger one, but I wanted to make sure I had my feet in the door. They saw how I work, how I do my booth, and things like that. And so then I went to the bigger booth. I was able to get rid of the 2 smaller ones. And so now that I have the bigger booth, I find that I have more space. I can put more bigger items. And then I just found Tuesday that I got a glass case now that I've been eyeing. And I asked the lady, you know, because there's a person who only takes care of that on Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. So I asked her, said, is it available? And if so, how much? Well, she said it's $60, but for you, as long as I would make it available for you. So I got it, and I'm going today and put some more stuff in there. So the best thing is find out what's best for you to start with. If you can get your foot in the door for an antique mall, work in there, show them your work ethics, show them that you're interested. And in that way, if there is a bigger spot that is available, 9 times out of 10, they're going to give it to you first because you're already in the door.
Right.
So that's one good thing about it. And that's why I always enjoy communicating with them. They see I'm there. No matter what time of the day or week I go, there's always somebody there that knows. If they may be working only on a certain day, they know that I'm there and I'm getting my things together in my booth. Hello and welcome, Jen. Go ahead.
I think that's important what you were saying because there's booths that, you know, I go to this antique mall probably every weekend. Mm-hmm. There's booths that I can tell the person that owns this booth hasn't been in here in like 1.5 years. It's just, you know, and so I think it's important that you're in there updating and moving around and adding new items because there's like 2 or 3 booths that are like my favorite booths, right? I go to those 2 or 3 first because they always have new stuff. Uh-huh. They always have good stuff. They always update everything. So those are the first 3 I'm checking out when I walk in there. And I think that's important. You know, there are some booths that they've had the same stuff for the past year. They haven't changed at all. And I'm looking at the owner. I'm like, really, man? Like, can we get rid of this one and make space for me?
It's sad though, because a lot of times my biggest pet peeve is when I'm going through an antique booth and it's so packed that you're afraid to walk or turn because you're going to hit something or knock something down. It aggravates the hell out of me.
Yeah, or they find something, they just throw it in there. It's just thrown in there.
Yeah, exactly.
You gotta dig through. Yeah. Like, I don't mind digging through a mess hall digs. I don't mind digging through things.
Right.
But, you know, make it a little easier for me, you know?
Yep. Yeah, that's an important thing, too, is appearance. You know, like you were saying, you go every week. And so for me, you never know how many people go every week. So that's why it's important you go in, refreshing it, move things around. Don't keep them in the same spot. Just make them look for things that way in the booth. Because sometimes I may not have the money that week, but they'll go back and look for it and they'll think it's gone. But if they start looking into your booth, they might see something else they like, and then they see the one thing they were looking for. So that's why I do that every week. Let's see, everybody's talking back to each other, commenting back and forth.
That's good. Keep chat going.
Let's see here. Everybody's communicating. Yep. Let's see. I so badly want to wish to start and have an antique booth. It's just a matter of getting at it and get it done. Start it. Find it somewhere.
Yeah, and you got to keep talking to the people in charge of that, man. I talk to them every time I go in there. I'm like, hey, what's up, man? Like, where am I at? How come I haven't got a call yet? Like, I bug them. I just bug the crap out of them all the time. And there's so many. There's 2 or 3 really good ones in my area. Like you said, there's another one that's not far from me. They get a lot of traffic, but it's just too big. It's just too much stuff in there. And it's like a whole strip. It's a whole strip mall. This other one is just, it's really easy to navigate and everything's right there. And that's why I like the concept better. That's why I want to get into that one.
Yeah. And one of the things I like too is that you, as a booth owner, you can run sales if you want. Like, say, I usually do it like around Labor Day and certain holidays, and then you put your own sign up. As long as you tell the front desk, I am running a sale from this date to that date. And what I do is right at the bottom, I'll put the sale starting date and ending date. That way, if something happens and I go back and I forget to pull a sign, at least they know it at the front desk as well. And so that's one good thing about it too. If you ever want to run a sale, you can also do that as long as you let them know at the front desk. Missed my live show last night. That was, last night. So again, if you haven't checked out the, our guest today is Mr. Mess Hall Diggs. And if you haven't checked out his channel, it is at the top of the chat in the blue box. And also, Jennifer has been dropping the links periodically through the chat, including his Instagram. And I wanted to ask you, because I see you have merch that you're wearing. How could somebody reach out to you and get some merch, like a t-shirt or any other merch that you may have?
This is the only merch I have. I got 1 t-shirt and 1 hoodie. And then I have, I got some golf balls that have my logo on it. But,
cool.
No, that was just something, when I first started, cause you want to have some kind of logo, some kind of brand.
Yeah.
And, I had a graphic designer. I told him, like, this is a secret. I don't tell many people, but I stole my idea from the Married with Children logo. So the Married with Children, my favorite TV show of all time, like Al Bundy's my idol. I took the Married with Children logo and just, I said, I want my logo to look like that one. And so they designed it that way. He sent me a t-shirt and a hoodie. And I had this canvas made behind me. And I got a couple stickers and stuff, but I don't want to get into like mass production of merch. I got a couple things that I send to like friends and family, and like Buffalo Picker, I sent them some stuff. Like I had these hats made that have the patch on it.
Oh, cool. I just noticed that.
But that was just something fun and cool, that I just want to have something with my logo on it, just as a reminder to keep pushing the brand, keep growing. If I ever get, to a point where people start DMing me and wanting stuff, then I'll probably just get some made and send them to them. I ain't trying to charge nobody for nothing. I'll just send it to them just for supporting me. Cause that's what I like to do. I have a lot of people that I follow and I like. Buffalo Picker has sent me some stuff. I got a couple of his shirts, and it's just fun to just represent and hold it down, And I like wearing it. I like wearing it at the thrift stores. And it's funny because people are like, man, I love that shirt. Like, you don't even know what this is. You don't even know what this means. But they're like, I love that shirt, man. So it's pretty cool.
So I have to ask you in reference to, it's a 2-part question. First of all, how did you get the name? When you go sourcing, do you tell anybody what you're doing?
When I go sourcing?
Mm-hmm.
No. So the name came from, I was in the military, like I said, 23 years. And I was a cook in the military. And in the military, we call the place where the soldiers go eat, we call it the mess hall. That's where you go eat, at the mess hall.
Yep.
That's where I spent probably, half my life for 23 years, 12, 15 hours a day. I was mess hall, in the mess hall. First sergeant commander would say, hey, mess hall, what's for lunch today? So it just kind of represents, my journey. I'm mess hall. I worked in a mess hall, so I wanted to be mess hall something. And digging, I don't call it sourcing. I call it digging. Like I'll tell my wife, I'm going digging. See if we can find some treasure, right? You dig for treasure. So I'm going to go digging. Right. And so, you know, that's how the concept started. It's like, well, what are you doing? Mess hall's gonna go digging. That's what we gonna do. Right. Mess hall gonna go digging for treasure. So mess hall digs is kind of how it all came about.
And if anybody wasn't the ones that came in kind of late and they weren't here at the beginning, let everybody know what also you do as far as teaching.
Yeah, so I'm a chef, actually. I have a degree in culinary arts, and an opportunity came up. The Culinary Institute that I graduated from was looking for some chefs to help out the program because the head chef had left and the assistant chef had left. So the program was kind of just scrambling, trying to find some replacements. Mm-hmm. So me and a couple other students that had graduated from the program kind of jumped in just to help keep the program afloat until they found a permanent replacement. Mm-hmm. Well, the thing is, that was 2 years ago, and they keep calling me back every semester, like, "Hey, you want to do a class? You want to teach a class?" And this coming up fall semester, I'm teaching 3 classes now. So,
oh wow, this
temporary helping out thing has now turned into I'm now teaching 3 culinary classes at the college. So, and it's funny because it has professor in front of my name now. It's like professor. I'm like, so you're talking to a professor now. That's my title. I'm a professor. So it's kind of cool. But yeah, culinary arts, I teach, you know, and it's cool because the age range is just, it's crazy. Like we just had a grandmother and her grandson graduated from my program this summer. Like they decided to go to school together. You know, I have 18-year-olds in there. I have 60-year-olds in there. It's just people that want to learn how to cook something will take a class at the college and I'll be their instructor. So it's pretty cool, but you can also get a 4-year degree there. You know, you can get a bachelor's degree in restaurant management, culinary arts, hospitality management. So it's pretty cool. I love it, man. I'll never give it up. Every time they call me, I'm going. You know, it's just the funnest. There's nothing funner than teaching. And that's another reason why I want to do YouTube. I love teaching people how to do things, man. It's no greater joy than that.
You're having a lot of great comments about a different name for your channel now about the professor added to your name.
Professor Methal Diggs, Professor Diggs. That's right. It's an actual title. I'm a professor.
That's right. I love it. All right, so we are going up and down in numbers, and I don't want to keep you too long because I want to thank you again for coming and giving me the time to be part of the show in the morning, again, to be able to showcase your channel. And if you haven't checked out his channel, the Mess Hall Diggs, this link is at the top in the blue box. Go ahead and check out his channel. And also, Jennifer, can you post his Instagram? Because I saw a question asking if he had an Instagram account. He does. Jennifer has been posting it throughout the channel, through the chat, so check it out. So about someone telling me my new videos. Do you cook? Do you have a cooking channel too?
No, but I post some stuff on Instagram when I'm cooking things. I'll post little quick videos. That's not really a goal. That's not a goal of mine to have a cooking channel at all.
Kathy says, Professor, how do I get an A in your class?
Hey, just show up and do what I tell you. You'll be all right.
I love it. You need one. All right. So if you have not checked out his channel, like I said, it is at the top. Hello, Patrick. Welcome. Not sure if I went through. I'm not sure what that means, but anywho. So what I'm going to do is before I open the channel, a platform in the screen, to the link to everybody in the chat, I want you to go through again and let everybody know, for those who are coming in and out, more about your channel again, when your channel videos, and the actual live that they can catch you on another channel you do every week.
Yeah, so Mess Hall Diggs on YouTube, Mess Hall Diggs on Instagram. The biggest thing I like, you know, DM me if you have questions, if you want to know something, if you want to learn something, if you want to collab on something. Instagram is the best place for that. I have a YouTube channel. I only have 220 subscribers or something. It's a small. We're a small community, but we're a tight community. We have fun on my show. And on Friday nights, I do Defend the Hustle with the Buffalo Picker and Glass City Pickers. We have a new guest every week, Fridays. I believe that's 6:30 Eastern. Or no, 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 my time. So yeah. 7:30 Eastern. every Friday night. Buffalo Picker, also retired military. Check us out, man. We have a good time always. It's all about having a good time. You never know.
One of the things about it too, you don't want to really miss it. Right. You want to check it out because they cover so much stuff. So many questions are asked, and you get to learn a lot on that channel because Tommy does a lot of Amazon. He also does a lot of, I don't know if he hasn't really been doing it lately because it's been so intense with good guests going on his show that he usually does a show and tell. Like he'll show you like the top 3 or 4 items that he sold or picked up for that week. There's the link. Jennifer just dropped it in the chat. If you have not subscribed to Tommy from the Buffalo Picker, definitely want to check it out. He's actually the co-host with Tommy and Chris every Friday. And how long you been doing that now?
I think this will be my 4th show now. I've done 4.
That's about a month, yeah.
I was always the substitute. I was always the fill-in too. You know,
right.
if Glass City couldn't make it, he would call me and I would fill in. But now I'm a permanent co-host now. Yeah. It's a great mix, man, because you know Tommy's all about Amazon. I'm all about eBay, so we have those battles. He does great giveaways every Friday night. I mean, he gives away some really cool, awesome stuff every Friday. Yeah, it's a great place to get your questions answered because we cover pretty much everything: Amazon, reselling, YouTube, anything you can think of in this game, this business. We go over it. We're really pay attention to the chat. The questions come through the chat. We always answer every question that we can. And the guests are always awesome because we come from all walks of life and, you know, different things and between, you know, retail arbitrage and pallets and whatever you could think of, electronics. There's always something new to be learned every time. And that's what I love about being a co-host is I learn the most probably because I'm taking notes while people are talking. Our guests are talking. I'm taking notes. I'm like, oh, I got to check that out for sure.
Right. Now, the link that Jennifer did put, this is for this Friday's show. But anytime you go to the link, you can set it up by when you go to the link, there's going to be a little notification. You can set your reminder. It'll set it up for you. And then also you can make sure you subscribe. Just remember, if you go to anybody's link, because we're going to go ahead and open the panel to those in the chat. When you go to somebody's link, always remember when you go to their channel and it says the word subscribes in red, that means you're not subscribed. Change it to gray. And right next to it, you hit all the top notifications for when they come out with a video. Glam says, I'm going to be stay tuned in so I can learn more about Snickers. That's the direct link for Friday. And don't forget today, every Tuesday and Thursday, I'm not ending the show. I'm just going to open the panel to everyone. Dawn and Mary do come on at 12 o'clock Eastern every Tuesday and Thursday, so don't miss out. Speaking of Dawn and Mary, there she is. Hello, Dawn. Hello. Good morning and welcome. Already subbed. Added the new sub to the font. Yes, that's every Friday. Sandra, hello. Good morning and welcome to you as well. Just said the reminders. That's awesome. All right, now let me go ahead and put the link in the chat real quick. That way, anybody who would like to come on, you're more than welcome to come on and have questions, have a chit chat, and come onto the panel. We could talk about your channel, maybe something that you have going on, promoting something you have going on your channel, and I'll go ahead and pin this to the top of the link now. And so that way you can come on and be with us on the panel. So if anyone was thinking about thinking about maybe getting to tennis shoes or thinking about doing any specific category, what kind of tips would you give that person, especially if they're either new and thinking about getting into reselling or they have started, but they don't know what avenue to take yet? What kind of tips you would give them?
So the number one advice I would give is it's always going to be number one forever and ever to the end of time, baby. The number one advice is start with things around your house. That's always number one. So things that you might have donated in the past or things that you might have thrown away in the past or the things that you were thinking about putting in your yard sale pile. Go through those things first. That's the best lesson that you can learn first, because I mean, I had old t-shirts in my closet that I haven't worn in years. And I just looked those up and I was like, oh, remember the brand Affliction? Affliction used to be big back in like the early 2000s, right?
Yep.
Well, Affliction still sells for good money on eBay. And these are shirts I would just throw in my Goodwill bag or whatever. But now I'm like, well, I can still get $18 to $20 a piece for these, and I was just about to just donate them to Goodwill. So always start there. Even like old mugs, vases, old, things around your house that maybe were hand-me-downs from grandma that you're just going to donate. Look everything up. Like I said, Google image search stuff. If you don't know what it is, just give it a try. It's your kids' old toys. I sell my son's old Nerf guns all the time. His old Minecraft stuff. He used to be into Minecraft when he was little. All that old Minecraft toys sell really good. Old Thomas the Train stuff sells really good. So all the old toys, Monster High dolls, Barbies, all that stuff, there's a market for it on eBay for sure. So always start there. And then whatever your interests are, whether that's sports or hats or shirts or jackets or shoes, that's the niche you need to master and get into first, because that's the one you're going to have the most fun with. I love going to thrift stores looking at shoes. I love to do it. I have a great time doing it. It's fun for me. So that makes it that much sweeter. It doesn't get become a job. It doesn't get, boring. It's not fun anymore. Like, that's never going to be the case. So something that really interests you, there's probably a market for that interest out there in the world, and you need to monetize that interest the best that you can. It does not matter what you're into. There is a market for it. I guarantee you there's a market for it. And then when you're out there trying to find it or develop new ways to sell it or get your name out there, that's going to be the best way to do it, because you're going to enjoy every minute of building that brand, building that business. So I would start with those two things and then just scale from there.
When you were talking about that, as far as looking up things, I'll kick myself in the butt about 2017. This was before I even thought about getting into eBay. We inherited my father-in-law's house because he had passed away. And we started going through some of the things. And we were just at the time just trying to get rid of things. It was so much. He had this big, huge collection of Garfield. And when I say Garfield, it was everything from the clings to the windows of the car to all, you name it. And then he had a big collection of those bass talking fish.
Oh, man, those are
well, back then I didn't know. And we took and donated a lot of that stuff to Goodwill.
Yep.
To this day, we wish we'd have kept it and sold it, because, again, we didn't know back then. So you definitely
those bass talking fish, man. I've sold one of those before. Yeah, that's worth some money.
So Angie wants to know, what is your favorite food to prepare?
So I'm my favorite food. Jeez Louise. So my favorite. All right, this is gonna make you laugh. My favorite food of all time, and always will be, is a grilled cheese sandwich. In my opinion, it's the perfect food. It's crunchy, it's salty, it's creamy. It's just the greatest thing. And then you can get real creative with a grilled cheese. You could make it a patty melt. You could put 5 different kinds of cheeses in it. You can put bacon. And you can do all kinds of crazy things with a grilled cheese sandwich. So that's my favorite food to eat. But I'm basically more of a dessert chef. I make desserts mostly. I did post on my Instagram. I did an experiment where I made a vodka strawberry shortcake, and it turned out really good. It was a citrus vodka. I soaked the strawberries in it, and so that was a huge winner right there. A citrus vodka strawberry shortcake. Cheesecake is my favorite dessert. I made a maple bacon cheesecake the other day. It turned out really well. Chicken and waffles. Chicken and waffles is probably my most requested item. I make a really mean chicken and waffles too, with a spicy hot maple syrup. So that's it, man. Grilled cheese, my favorite thing on the planet.
That's a great comfort food.
Great.
All right. Well, I'm noticing that our numbers are going down enough to where I'm going to go ahead and end the show, because, again, I don't want to take too much more of the time out of your day and everyone else who's in the chat. So before we go, again, one more time, go ahead and talk about your show, where you're on, and that way they can know where to catch you at before we go ahead and end the show.
Once again, Mess Hall Digs. That's the logo. Mess Hall Digs, YouTube, Instagram. You could even put Mess Hall Digs in Google, I think, and one of my platforms will show up, either Instagram or YouTube. Fun-loving guys, have a good time, crazy, make you laugh. I do a different approach. to Reselling YouTube channel, come check me out, man. Like, dislike, don't matter, because I like you. I like my own show.
And also, if you're interested in wanting to become a guest on the show, I am looking at filling up the last week of this month. And there's my link of all links, including my affiliate links in that links, to where you can reach out to me and let me know you're interested. And I'll let you know what dates I have available, because right now I'm at the last week and starting the next month. So if you would like to come on, I would love to have you on the show, showcase your channel. And you just never know what kind of knowledge you have that someone may be able to learn from you. So with that being said, like I said before, each and every show, remember that I do have this morning show Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern, to where you get to learn new other channels, also new ideas and thoughts of things that people do that may not be right for you. But again, what we do in our business is maybe something that we can pass on to you that you can actually either try or at least see if it works for you. And again, I always look at it this way. If I can learn something that makes it smarter, not harder for me to work, I am game to listen to someone else on a show for any of the knowledge they have. Also, I just had a pop up real quick, so we bring her on. That's Miss Little Miss Q.
Hi.
Good morning.
Little Miss Q in the house. Hi.
So you got your granddaughter with you today?
I was going to ask you something after the show. That's all.
Okay, that's fine. I just want to go ahead and bring you on real quick.
I just didn't
Everybody have
want
a
to
great
bother
day.
anybody else.
And if you want to come on after the show's over, you're more than welcome to come on. I just got the notification for your new video. Awesome. And like I said before in each and every show, don't forget to check out everybody else's channels. Check out their links in the chat. And if you do go to their channel link and it just happens to be that the word subscribe is in red, that means you're not subscribed. Change it to gray. And then right next to it, hit the thumbs up, the notification for all. Also make a comment on their videos. Let them know you watched it. Let everybody know when you go onto someone's channel who you got their channel from, what channel you found them on, because that does go a long way, and it does help their channel when you make a comment and then hit the thumbs up. So with that being said, don't forget to check out everybody's channel. And before I end the show, as I say before I end all shows, love always. Love is always free. Please be kind to one another until we do meet into another chat again. Have a great and fabulous evening, and until we meet again later, peace out. Peace.